Hey, I'm Sean, and this is BaseMint Comics. My son and I are about to pedal up to our LCS to pick up our new comics. It's Wednesday, August 13th, 2025.
Here he is now, and that's where we were. The faster it goes, the more it blurs. Sleep, I don't wanna sleep, 'cause I miss the now. So let's raise a toast to living. Here's to the light, spirit on the run. Raise up your glass, time's a charm. They say you can have all of what you wanted to. It must be true. Oh, 'cause I've got.
We just got back from our ride to the shop, and I wanted to show off the books that I picked up this week. At the top is Fantastic Four #2. Since Ryan North took over this book, it's pretty much been my favorite Marvel title. I am primarily an X-Men guy. I mean, that's what got me into comics. I'll go into that at some point. But #2 on my list of favorite Marvel characters is the Fantastic Four, and Ryan North has been doing a killer job on that title. Probably my favorite run for the Fantastic Four is the Byrne era, and it's ranking like right up there with me as far as I'm concerned. So been digging that. I picked up X-Men, what is it, issue #20. I've been enjoying the series, but not as much as I kind of hoped. I wish there was a little bit more Ryan Stegman art in this series, and that hasn't been the case, and that's kind of been a bummer because he was one of the big draws for that. Right now, for me, the best book of the X line is Uncanny. I mean, I'm really digging Nightcrawler is my favorite X-Men character of all time, so I have a soft spot for that one due to that. Picked up Giant Size X-Men #2. Not the greatest event, but I enjoyed it, I think, more than a majority of the internet. Bug Wars #6, finishing this out. I'm pretty much primarily, not pretty much primarily, I am basically a Marvel guy. It's nothing against indie publishers or the distinguished competition. As you will learn, I've got a pretty extensive Marvel collection, and if I had opened that up to DC, I'd have to buy a different house. And I gave Bug Wars a shot because it was sold as kind of this like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim type of thing, and I was thinking that maybe I'd be able to, like, down the line when Hank's a little bit older, read it with him. And if you've read the series, obviously it's not okay for kids. It's not good for kids. So I enjoyed it, but I'm kind of also in this phase in my collection where if I'm not if I don't think I'm ever going to read it again, I've kind of been getting rid of stuff. Just kind of, I'm not really a flipper of books. I don't buy speculation titles and stuff like that. That's not really my cup of tea. In fact, at Halloween, I take one of the spinner racks that's at the house, and when I go through like quarter bins or whatever sales around the area at the comic shops, I tend to buy a bunch of stuff so that I can pass it out with the candy. I'll get into that, I'm sure, at some point as we get closer to Halloween. I'll show the setup and stuff like that, but the kids really dig it. But some stuff I'll put up on eBay, just try to get some of my money back. So that's sort of what's going to happen with Bug Wars. Is like, I was happy I bought it to read it once, but probably never going to revisit it. It's still good if you're into it. It was really good. Kind of leaves off on an end of book 1. Look forward to book 2 in the next year, but probably not something I'm going to continue on because just not really my cup of tea. Although Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim is a fantastic book and probably my favorite from my childhood. Up next, Spider-Man and Wolverine #4. It's been pretty good so far. I mean, anytime they kind of get into the what happened to Mr. and Mrs. Parker is always kind of interesting. Art's been fun. I'm not as big of a fan as everybody else is, but, you know, it's pretty good. going along with the Jason Aaron of Bug Wars is a thing that's far more up my alley, which is Uncle Scrooge's Earth's Mightiest Duck. I really dug his Infinity Dime story, and Hank has been on a hardcore DuckTales kick for the past couple of months. So, you know, that was the one he was most excited for, as far as a 3-year-old can get excited for books. And then I got Laura Kinney Wolverine and Magic number 8. Both of these aren't really doing as much for me as I hoped they would, but I unfortunately am an X-Men completist, and I'm trying to break that habit, but it's kind of hard, and it's even worse when most of these titles, it seems, from this new relaunch haven't been making it past 10 issues, so I'm kind of like, well, I'm already 7 or 8 issues deep on these titles, so I might as well continue. Then I picked up Bring on the Bad Guys, Red Skull. So far, I've been kind of enjoying these one-shots that are all interconnected. I will admit, though, that the only one that I enjoyed immensely was the Green Goblin one. I think the rest of them have been okay, but the Green Goblin one is fantastic and sort of stands alone if you're looking to look into anything like that. The Green Goblin one is where it's at. And while Hank was running around the store, not wanting to leave, and sometimes that winds up making me buy things that normally aren't in my pull list, which I'm sure my shop loves, my wallet does not. But thankfully, I found this for $1, and it goes along with that issue. It is a trade of the original Bring on the Bad Guys. And so for $1, how can you go wrong? It's got all the, I believe, first appearances, although there seem to be some Burn Doom issues, but none for the other characters as far as other issues. But I mean, come on, that trade dress is pretty sweet, and for $1, you know, what the hell. And then in the mail the other day, I picked up from Comics or Marvel Arts from the Abram Arts. I don't know exactly what it is. I think it's an outside company that Marvel does some stuff with. I ordered this, the Avengers, the Veracity Trap. It's by Chip Kidd with art by Michael Cho. And if you look over there, you can see that Fantastic Four poster that my neighbor gave me, which I love. And that's Michael Cho art. Abrams has been putting out these Mighty Marvel team-up books, which are kind of more kid. There's these Spider-Man and the Animals Assemble, and a Fantastic Four Spider-Man book called Quantum Quest, and then a Spider-Man and the Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Chaos. I have not read these yet, but you can kind of get an idea of they're obviously younger orientated, so I too also picked these up in the hopes of being able to read them when Henry is just a bit older. I also picked up this Iron Man and Doctor Strange team up along the same vein, and then Hank's favorite character right now, obviously because of Spidey and his amazing friends, is Spider-Man. So I also got this Spider-Man Swing Through with a story by Sabrina Moyle and pictures by Eunice Moyle, and it's pretty fun, super colorful. I don't know, I kind of like all these, you know, it's a good time. But the thing they're probably most known for is Fantastic Four Full Circle by Alex Ross, which is obviously fantastic. And if you are a Fantastic Four fan, you probably already have it, and if you don't, you definitely should. I got the first version of it, but they released an expanded edition, which I think is bigger and has lots of back matter and probably some behind the scenes good stuff with Alex Ross, and I've definitely added that to my Christmas list. But this Avengers and the Veracity Trap is a fun little first gen Avengers, you know, Cap, Thor. Well, I guess Cap didn't join until the 4th issue, so he might not be first gen. Anyways, it's what you know most likely as the OG Avengers going up against Loki, and it gets a little meta by pulling Chip Kidd and Mike Cho into it through some portals and alternate realities. But the art is fantastic, as you would expect from Michael Cho. And so he's actually coming to my local con in a couple months, so I'm looking forward to getting this and possibly that poster signed by him. So if you get a chance and you just want a fun, colorful, one-off, not tied into continuity Avengers story, I would definitely give Avengers the Veracity Trap a look. So thanks for checking the channel out. I don't know. Yeah, so that was I guess first video, seeing how this goes. So I wanted to thank you for checking it out, and look forward to doing more. I'm going to try to keep like a somewhat regular schedule with this of the weekly stuff, and probably not going to be just like going through new stuff. It's definitely going to be old stuff. Currently, I have been doing for the last couple of years like a straight up reread of everything X-Men in continuity order, and I started in 63 and am in 1996. I was doing kind of a thing where I was like, I read through all the X-Men stuff after I'd compiled this crazy list of how everything, like each title, kind of weaved in and out of each other on this ridiculously large spreadsheet, and I got through it all to present day, and then did it again, but I went back, and I'm a big music fan, and I kind of put it into play where like I could only listen to music from the time period that the book came out when I was reading those books. So like, early 60s stuff has a lot of like Kinks, Beatles, the Searchers, and all. And right now I am in the Onslaught story. I'm in like July 1996. And when that ends, because of what happens with like Heroes Reborn and the Avengers and the Fantastic Four and Cap and Iron Man going into the Pocket Universe, I'm going to put a pin in that for a little bit, because a few years back I started realizing that I've been collecting comics for over 30 years consistently, and I just have tons and tons of back issues that like I'm like, one day I'm going to read those, and I just keep on getting more, as I'm sure most everyone knows. And I finally was like, man, I just got to start reading this stuff because it's here. So I started reading Amazing Spider-Man. Started reading Fantastic Four once I completed these runs. And like first 100 issues of Spider-Man, first 100 issues of Fantastic Four, and Avengers were done in Epic collections. But beyond that point, it's pretty much all single issues. I'm looking at my Spider-Man wall right here. And Spider-Man is a good chunk of Epic collections too. But Fantastic Four and Avengers after issue 100 is pretty much straight single issues. And so I've been reading like every title that I have complete, or at least like solid, good runs, like I think my Iron Man run starts around like issue 98, and then I've got all the David Michelini, like I think I've got up to I've got years and years and years of this, and so I've been kind of reading everything. So currently, as far as back issues go, I started in 61. And I've read up to 1981, and I'm reading currently, Avengers, Uncanny X-Men, Fantastic Four, Amazing Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, Marvel Team Up, Marvel 2-in-1. I pulled Cap in once my Cap run started. I pulled Iron Man in once my Iron Man run started. There's got to be a couple other things that I'm certainly missing. And I just finished 1981. So I'm in 1982 right now. So I'll probably talk about, that stuff too. Probably more in depth than I will the new issues, because the new issues is kind of like, oh, I liked it. Oh, I didn't, but I don't really go negative if I don't like something. I'm just sort of like, oh, not my cup of tea. So that's that. So that's maybe what you can expect, if you care at all. Anyways, I hope no one subscribes or likes this, because that seems weird to me. I'm just doing this for me, because we got a good community of comic shops and people, and I had a core good group of pals. Like my next door neighbor is a guy who worked at my comic shop for years, one of my best friends before we even moved in, happened to move in next to each other. So that's kind of nice. He doesn't work at the store is no longer around, but it's nice. We can occasionally pop over the fence and talk comics, but we don't really read the same things, so this is mostly an exercise in me not boring my wife to death with tales of, oh my god, I read this Veracity Trap, and you're gonna be like, and she's like, she has the same look on her face when I'm talking about the Veracity Trap that I have when she starts explaining the inner workings of Beverly Hills 90210 or One Tree Hill episodes or something like that. So, in an effort to combat some of that, I decided I would talk into a camera, and that should be good enough. But maybe if somebody wants to watch, that'll be okay too. But it seems kind of weird. I don't know. Anyways, BaseMint Comics. I'll get into the name at some point. It's pretty self-explanatory. All my comics are in a basement. And I changed the mint to mint because one of the fellas that I love dearly, that we were all super close with at our shop, was a fella named Dennis McDermott, and he passed, unfortunately, last year, and it was a huge bummer, and I loved that dude. He'd been a huge part of me being into comics for pretty much most of my life around this area. He was a Motor City Comics legend, and he was known as Mr. Mint. So I was like, I think about him a lot. I try to tell Hank stories about him when we bike up to the shop. He was an all-around good dude, and it sucks that he's gone. And I thought I'd add mint, because obviously, like a play on words, and call out to his name, because he was a badass, and I miss him. So there's a bit of the channel name. Maybe I'll get into that and all that other stuff more. So thanks. I don't know. I appreciate it. Let me know what you picked up or whatever, if there's one person out there in the comments. Thanks. See you next week. Button didn't work.